This is a Ramping Up Your English book review. We have a saying in English, never judge a book by its cover. When I saw the book, Diesel Electric 4030 by Henry Billings being discarded, I thought it had outlived its life. After all, it was written in 1950. Well, that would have been such a loss because the basics of diesel electric locomotives have not changed at all in all these years, and this book's easy-to-read wording and clear sketches make it valuable in understanding the technology that moves trains across our land. Billings takes readers on an imaginary but realistic run between Harmon and Albany, New York. His illustrations show readers how a locomotive works, including how it powers all the train systems. One of my favorite illustrations is the one showing the railroad signaling system and how it works. There's a lot to love in this old book. Getting your hands on one could be tricky. Search your library or used bookstore for Diesel Electric 4030 by Henry Billings from Viking Press. It's an oldie, but a goodie. For Ramping Up Your English, I'm John Letts. Welcome back to Ramping Up Your English. This is segment 3 of episode 6. Our theme is trains and railroads. Today's episode centers on a style of passenger train called streamliners. Streamlining was a design movement that went far beyond railroads. It represented progress and was applied to many things and even to processes. Streamlining basically meant enhanced function and the dropping away of unnecessary elements. The adoption of streamliners coincided with the railroad's change from steam power to diesel electric locomotion. It also saw the naming of passenger trains. One of the first named trains in the United States was Southern Pacific's Sunset Limited. That name is proudly carried on by Amtrak today. Here's a video clip of one portion of the Sunset Limited route. After our late-night hookup with the Texas Eagle in San Antonio, we awoke to a whole other world. This is West Texas, having nothing in common with East Texas except the state's name. Gone are all the bayous, marshes, rice fields, and oak trees. We're riding through the desert here, somewhere between San Antonio and Del Rio, looking a lot like Mexico's northern deserts. That should be no surprise. All of Texas used to be part of the República Mexicana.
Rio Grande, I presume.
Right on the border near Del Rio, we see a break in all this dry country.
Lake Amistad.
Doesn't that mean friendship?
Yes.
I don't think it's too friendly anymore, is it?
Well, it's an act of friendship between the United States and Mexico. Well, look how blue.
We're approaching Lake Amistad, a reservoir spanning the border, promoting friendship, or amistad, between the United States and Mexico. We cross the lake on this bridge, parallel to the highway bridge.
This is west of Del Rio.
We pass through mile after mile of West Texas desert until...
Here you go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, inside the train now. It's 370 feet high, 2,700 feet long. Pecos River Hydrant is the highest operating in the United States. Ranks the third largest in the world. Pecos River Hydrant.
There's the old railroad.
If you didn't hear all that, we crossed the Pecos River on the highest railroad bridge in the United States. This is the view looking north. Let's see the crossing looking south.
This is the Pecos River that we're crossing over now, the highest railroad bridge in the United States, the Pecos River.
If you've heard of Judge Roy Bean, the law west of the Pecos, well, this is the Pecos River they're talking about. Somewhere west of here, we arrive at Sanderson, Texas.
Check out this station.
Just to be clear, this is not the Amtrak station. I'm just intrigued by old ruins.
Boy, we didn't stop for long. Old corral here.
We continued toward El Paso. All these wide open spaces brought us to Alpine, Texas, a small, windy West Texas town. The train picks up a new crew here. And people get to watch the Sunset Limited come and go. Alpine was born in 1882 with the coming of the railroad. It was a good source of water for the steam locomotives of the time. To this day, it's an important stop for the Sunset Limited. Today, it's the gateway to Big Bend National Park. On one trip, we left Alpine to find snow in the desert. Approaching El Paso, the desert gives way to fields growing cotton and orchards. Now we find ourselves in the outskirts of El Paso.
This is El Paso.
At this point, we enter the Union Pacific Freight Yards.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could please have your attention. Our next station stop, El Paso, Texas, will be coming up in about 7 minutes. If El Paso is your final destination, please check the seats around you, the floor below you. Make sure you have all your items with you. Also, if you brought on any carry-on bags with you, make sure you take those down with you as well. Upon departure from El Paso, you'll be leaving the state of Texas and entering the state of New Mexico. Our next station stop after El Paso will be Deming, New Mexico, hour and 30 minutes away. But for the meantime, folks, El Paso, Texas will be coming up shortly. Please stay within the vicinity of the train, and please watch your step as you're stepping off. Thank you.
And here we wait until the eastbound Sunset Limited passes. And what about our arrival in El Paso? Well, we have to wait until part 4 of the Sunset Limited westbound. Thanks for watching. Welcome back to Ramping Up Your English. This is Episode 6, Segment 3. You can watch or even download today's program by going to archive.org/details/ROGUE-TV. In Episode 5, I urged you to read a book, Rising from the Rails. That is far beyond the comprehension level of most intermediate English learners. I found that reading above my head in my second language of Spanish often meant reading some sentences and phrases more than once and occasionally looking up unfamiliar words in the dictionary. In subsequent episodes, we'll list out some strategies for reading difficult text in your target language. That's all for episode 6 of Ramping Up Your English. I want to thank my crew for all their technical help, RVTV for making this program available to our community, and I want to thank you for watching. We'll be back with episode 7 of Ramping Up Your English. I'm John Letts.
You've been watching Ramping Up Your English, a support program for intermediate level English language learners. Learn more. Visit our website at letscreate.org. You can also watch or download today's program at archive.org/details/roadtv. Join us next time on RVTV Voices for Ramping Up Your English.